Sorry. Wrong weather. That's more like it. Did you notice this track? If the answer is yes, then I think you will like this video, even though the song is not featured on the album that we are going to talk about today. Welcome at either my channel, Murdock's Music Minute, or Stefan's channel.
Yes, hello. Today we're talking about Rainy Sunday Afternoon by Divine Comedy. Was released, we're recording this on Tuesday, and it was released 4 days ago.
Friday, yes.
Yeah. So, people who saw my short video about this album, I made a 1-minute review, if you can call this a review, already know...
A teaser or a...
Yeah, kind of teaser. Already know what I think about this album, but no one except you knows what you think about it.
Yeah.
So I'm also very curious what your impressions of this album are. Yeah. Do you want to start? Or
Yeah.
how do we structure this video?
Yeah.
We should have prepared. We have prepared nothing.
Yeah,
So
I've prepared notes.
I've also prepared notes, but we didn't talk about what we're going to do.
Shall we do a track by track or just an overall?
Maybe later, track by track,
Okay.
but maybe first thoughts about it, or thoughts about, or in general, our thoughts about Divine Comedy.
Yeah.
Hannon, do you like the Divine Comedy?
Yeah, I would say I'm a big fan of the Divine Comedy.
Me too.
I'm just wondering what the first time was when I heard the Divine Comedy. I guess it must have been a radio show, FM4 Heartbeat, and I think they played some
In Austria.
Yeah, it's an Austrian radio
station.
show. It's rather indie, guitar pop centered.
In the 90s.
In the 90s. I think the show is still running. It still exists.
Yeah.
And it must have been a track from...
Casanova.
No, an older track.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Then you know them longer than I. I mean, the name Divine Comedy, maybe I've heard it first time around the time of Promenade, maybe. But the first time I really consciously listened to a song was probably also on this radio station. Must have been a song from Casanova, maybe something for the weekend. And then 1 or 2 years later, a secret history of Divine Comedy came out, the first best of album. And that was the first CD, those were the CD days, the first CD I bought by them. And I really, really liked it. But the unfortunate thing was that then the album after that, you know, I'm a guy when I'm buying a best of, then I'd like to wait for the next studio album because I don't want to have overlapping songs. And then about 2 years later, Regeneration came out, and to this day, this is my least favorite Divine Comedy album. Yeah. So they were like, you know, after like a short flirt with them for 2 or 3 years with this best of, and I thought, I'm going to like every album they put out now. You know, my fandom died down for more than 20 years. I didn't buy any more albums from them because I was so disappointed by that. I mean, nowadays I like even Regeneration. It's still my least favorite, but I turned into such a big Divine Comedy fan over the course of the last 2-3 years that now I even like Regeneration. But it's still my least favorite. And I really became a fan of Divine Comedy 2 years ago when I listened to a Scott Walker CD with my girlfriend, and she didn't know Scott Walker before we listened to him. And I showed it to her so asking her, do you like that? And she said, yeah, I think it was Scott 2, which is my favorite Scott Walker album. And she said, yeah. And she also likes indie pop, 90s indie pop. And so, of course, I said to her, do you know Divine Comedy? And then I played the best of. And I had already forgotten how much I used to like this best of back in the 90s. And then I was like, wow, this is so great, and she also liked it, and then in like 2 or 3 weeks I bought the whole catalog.
Wow.
And then I turned into a really hardcore fan.
I don't own the entire catalog, but I'm sure the first song must have been Your Daddy's Car of Liberation. Or seeing the video to Everybody Knows That I Love You on MTV back then. But I really became a fan when the same radio show, FM4 Heartbeat, had a major feature on the Absent Friends album. That's when I really thought, okay,
I think this is...
I have to get this album, and then I bought other albums.
I think this is your favorite album, and it's also my favorite album by Divine Comedy, because I once did a ranking video of Divine Comedy, and one of the 2 comments under this video, under this not very successful video on my channel, was you. This was before we even met. This was when we just knew each other from each other's comment section. And you wrote that you basically have the same ranking as me, and that also Absent Friend is your favorite album, which maybe it brings us to this album.
The beginning of an internet bromance. But it might end today. Let's find out.
No, but I'm pretty optimistic that we have kind of the same opinion on this album, because I think Absent Friends is a great reference for this album. I think with this album, Neil Hannon returns to the glory days of Absent Friends. I mean, I think the backstory of this album is also that he did this soundtrack. I didn't even watch that movie because I don't really watch movies nowadays. I'm not interested in Hollywood movies. But at least it came to my attention that this must have been a very successful, mainstream successful movie, and he made money with this film. So he made more money with this movie than probably with the last 5 albums he did. And he had the money to make, after so many years again, a really more elaborate production. He produced in Abbey Road, had a great producer, had the budgets for strings, brass, and so on. So the albums after Absent Friends are all great albums in my opinion, but they suffer a bit from a lack of especially after Victory of the Comic Muse, which was the last major label album he did. And I think he also said in a recent interview, the one thing he hates about our times is the internet. And I think I can, if you think about it, it's logical, because the internet kind of destroyed his career in the early noughties, one could say, because before file sharing and streaming and so on, he really could go to the major label and demand, like, I want to have £100,000 for my next production and make those big orchestral pop symphonic records like Absent Friends. And then the last couple of albums, which are all good, but Office Politics and Bang Goes the Night, those albums are really more small scale chamber pop. And I think he's at his best when he really can indulge himself into those big
grandeur of an orchestra. Arguably the internet has destroyed the art form of the album per se, so maybe we can now use the internet to at least promote this new album. Rainy Sunday Afternoon.
I also have to look at it. I always get confused if it's Sunday rain. What the wording, is it a Sunday rainy afternoon, sunny rainy? It's a bit confusing album title for me. But I think this is really a great album, a fantastic album, because on the one hand, he, like I said, he has now again the budget to fulfill all his
and you can hear it. It's
dreams,
really
his vision. But at the same time, it's probably even better than Absent Friends, because now he's so mature that he also knows when a song doesn't need the full orchestra. There's also very minimalistic moments on this album, very subtle moments. So I think each song gets what it deserves in a way on this album. And also a difference to Absent Friends, which is in my opinion a masterpiece, but this is in my opinion even bigger masterpiece, because I think Absent Friends, you still could accuse him, it's a kind of a Scott Walker pastiche, and that it's more, I think those are also very great personal lyrics on Absent Friends, but this is Neil Hannon. Now this is really him, his emotions more Whereas Absent Friends, there's still this cynicism, this almost Damon Albarn-esque, character study.
Yeah, taking on a character. Here
Yeah.
it's more direct. It's really
This is
feels
him.
like
This is him.
there's no masquerade going on.
This is his most soulful album, also, I think, in a sense that it's really about, we really get to know him with this album a bit more. It's more honest. That's not always a good thing. It's not always a good thing when an artist does that. But with him, it's kind of like a relief, like something was opened up, something that was always kind of caged is now open, and in that sense, to me it's one of the most moving albums I've heard
certainly
in recent years.
very heartfelt. I mean, I think you get to know a lot about Neil Hannon from the other albums as well, but
Of
more
course,
his,
but
maybe
it's
his
maybe
more quirky.
behind the mask. It's
behind the mask is quirky, tongue in cheek. This is, or it was at least promoted as a melancholic and rather gloomy affair.
But it still has some sense of humor.
And I was happy. I'm always happy when a new Divine Comedy album is, announced. Because honestly, after Office Politics, I was worried that that might have been the end of the line for
me too.
for Hannon. So, and with a title like Rainy Sunday Afternoon, it really speaks to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you've mentioned, it's not as sad and depressing as one might think from the description.
No, it's just honest, and it has the good and the bad that happens to people. His father passed away, which is big, like a thread on this album.
Aging and mortality.
Mortality is even the first single, Achilles. When this came out half a year ago, Achilles, I loved that song instantly. But it was also, this is the one song that's still a bit like, at first listen I wasn't sure, is this also like an ironic song in a way? Does it make fun of someone thinking about his own mortality? But in the context of the album, I think it's sincere. I mean, it's still a bit winking, but it's kind of sincere, I would say. It's also, it's not only this song, but also Achilles. There's also some social commentary in there. I mean, Achilles is based on a poem about World War, comparing World War One with the Trojan War, but it's still contemporary, of course, with today, what's happening in the conflicts around the world. So it's on the one side a personal album, which I like. But I also like that it's it's also about the world which we live in.
Subtle comments, maybe more so than on older Divine Comedy albums.
Also the song "I Want You," for example, the lyrics are about him wanting his wife, I guess, but the verses are I think there's one line maybe about Saudi Arabia, someone building a city, then about Trump building a wall, and then also always about people who are very egotistical, or Elon Musk building a rocket ship, and it's about those people, those shameless, rich, powerful people, and that's I think that's a song that describes the album very well, where it combines the personal, the intimate with the world stage in a way, and it's also his most spiritual album in a way. That's also, I think, something that's not the ironic Neil Hannon of the past. This is maybe because his father passed away. Maybe he thought about things like that, and his father, of course, was bishop, was a man of faith. So maybe he thought more about these concepts. Because I think the point of a song like "I Want You," but also Achilles and other songs, it's also this, all the drama in the world, it doesn't change anything, it's really about being yourself, be here now, those kind of
and at the same time there's
wisdom.
something dark, especially to "I Want You," because it's also, I think it's also a song, it's not just a romantic song.
It's not a happy "I Want You" song.
It's about obsession. It's almost a bit menacing. Very interesting lyrics on this album. And it's a return to the cinematic grandeur of albums like Absent Friends. So if you like the moodier tracks of Absent Friends, such as, for instance, The Wreck of the Beautiful, then I think you will really, really enjoy this album. It's very elegant. It's very literate and educated again.
But there's also
all the references in the lyrics.
There's also the two crazy outlier songs in a way, Mar-a-Lago, By the Sea, and before that the Rabbit Hole song.
Down the Rabbit Hole,
which are fun but also gloomy. You know, they're
Down the Rabbit Hole is very.
It's like a Alice in
twisted
Wonderland
version
horror
of Alice in Wonderland
song, and the Mar-a-Lago song is of course meant as a kind of a funny song, but it's also it's
very sarcastic.
It's
probably the
a
most
sarcastic
one.
song. And I think he even told his bass player, he said in one interview, he didn't tell him, but he wanted him to play it, to play it like a bad musician from a hotel lounge band.
It sounds like a solo entertainer in a luxury spa with that cheap bossa nova programmed drums. A drum computer, a very ancient drum computer.
What are your 2 or 3 favorite songs of the album?
My absolute favorite song is Last Time I Saw the Old Man.
Okay, about his father.
It's
very
about his
sincere
father.
song.
Very sincere. It's just a description of dementia, but it's probably the best song about aging and dementia.
Because it's not sentimental.
Not at all.
I think it's a song that someone who experienced something like that can relate more than to like a schmaltzy song.
Yeah. And it comes with a cool groove. It's very it's very Scott Walker, but done the Neil Hannon way.
Yeah, this is
That's
also
a fantastic
one of my favorites.
track.
My favorite song is Invisible Thread.
Okay.
And to me, this is the second best song he has ever written. I think his number 1 song, Tonight We Fly, is untouchable. It's really how can you write a better song than that? This is from the Promenade album, I think 1995. I think, really honestly, I think Tonight We Fly is in my top 10 all-time favorite songs by anyone. I think this is really a pop masterpiece.
High praise.
Yeah, for such an obscure song also. It's not like this is a big hit or even a small hit for Divine Comedy. But I think it's also his favorite song. He once said in an interview. I'm not surprised by that.
Or one of his favorites.
Yeah, but I think Invisible Thread is almost as good. So I think he has 2 songs now that are favorite. Those will be 2 songs forever. Forever for me, like top songs, like top 10, top 15 songs of my life. I think Invisible Thread, when I first heard it, came out like a month ago. I loved Achilles, the first single, and I thought maybe this is going to be a good album again. But then Invisible Thread, I was like, wow, I didn't expect him to do such a great song. This is such a fantastic song. And it's also a song, I think it's obvious that this was the last song before the album was released, that it was a single, because it's really the album in a nutshell in a way. Because it's such a intimate song about his family life, but still connecting to broader themes that everyone can relate to.
It's a song that
this is a tearjerker.
It's close to my heart as a father of a daughter, and this is also about his daughter. And
I don't have any children even that I know of, but I still was very moved.
Watching your children grow up and they become independent. Also, I think his daughter is singing on this track, if I'm not mistaken. So that's very, very emotional. I'm tearing up here.
And he said in an interview that she didn't really care about. She didn't.
She was like,
okay, I sing
it. Whatever. Arguably, it's the continuation of the track "Charmed Life."
Okay, yeah,
which is also I think which was dedicated to his daughter when she was small, and now we have this continuation. So that's very heartwarming. The critic in me has to say there's a part in the chorus that I find a bit cheesy. So it's
but I know what you mean. It has it's really
the arrangement is perfect, but there's this one passage.
But I love this. This is a cheesy song. This is a cheesy song that has the right to be cheesy. It's like when Bell and Sebastian often had this problem. When I think also Stuart Murdock, like Neil Hannon, a fantastic songwriter and a comparable songwriter in a way. And he also has this, like sometimes he's too corny with his stuff. But sometimes the corny is exactly what the song needs with Bell and Sebastian and with Divine Comedy. It's a bit this self-indulgent, this almost schmaltzy kind of thing.
This one passage
which is very this twee pop, 20 years ago it was called twee pop, this genre. But I think you know, in this song, it's exactly, I want it exactly like it is.
The track where this works for me is All the Pretty Lights, which is also
it's also a
extremely
great
nostalgic. You could also accuse it of being a bit too cheesy, maybe.
Yeah. I'm a Paul McCartney
That's where
fan.
it works for
you know,
me.
I like even an Ebony and the Ivory. You know, I don't care about cheesy.
I like the title track. It was a bit of a grower. It's one of the maybe smaller songs, small scale songs.
It's
very
also
charming.
a song that still has the winking, the fun, Neil Hannon, but at the same time it's also a gloomy song again. Because it's about relationship problems and again the world, the problems in the world. But it's slightly ironic.
It's about self-reflection.
And another great song is, which is a very strange song, is The Man Who Turned Into a Chair.
That's a charming track.
And the chorus is like an old folk or fairy tale song. Maybe this is one of those songs that he wrote for. I haven't seen
or a
Wonka.
60s TV theme song.
Like you, I haven't watched Wonka. I haven't yet watched Wonka, but I could imagine. I think he also said that Invisible Thread, the melody or something, is also in Wonka. And maybe I don't know that, but The Man Who Turned Into a Chair sounds to me like a song that would fit in such a movie. It has this childlike fairy tale kind
or
of thing.
Or a 60s television show. It's a cross between. Scott Walker, maybe Henry Mancini soundtrack.
Do you know this one song on the James Bond soundtrack on Her Majesty's Secret Service? Not the Armstrong song. There's a song. Do you know how Christmas trees are grown? This is a very strange song, and it doesn't really have in a James Bond film also. This is one of the strangest James Bond movie songs ever, and it reminds me a bit of this song. It's also a children kind of atmosphere.
There are also some vocal tracks on the soundtracks of the early Pink Panther films, and they sound a little bit like that. Also with the accordion.
It's that kind of style. It's also this Burt Bacharach. It's the kind of music that Austin Powers makes fun of.
Very 60s influence.
Lounge, easy listening.
I haven't watched the Wonka film. I listened to the soundtrack once.
But we have to thank the Wonka movie people because they funded this album basically.
And I have to thank Neil Hannon for writing the Oompa Loompa tune, because that's a song that even my daughter likes. So that's where our musical tastes meet in the family. So thank you.
Another highlight on the album for me, and also for my girlfriend. Like I said, my girlfriend and me, we fell in love with Divine Comedy 2 years ago when we first listened to Scott Walker and then to the Secret History. So we were both very excited when this album came out and we listened to it together. And we knew Invisible Thread before, and it was clear that this is our favorite song. But we both especially loved from the other songs, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter.
Oh, okay.
The Heart is a Lonely Hunter.
Okay.
That's one of the highlights for me and also for my
it's a song that I can't really connect with. Yeah, it's the one song that, I don't know.
That's such a moving, to me at least, that's such a... And this is one of the songs, because we said this is, thanks to Wonka, this is a big elaborate production. But this is also one of the songs, like I said in the beginning when Neil Hannon shows, I might have now the money, but some songs don't need the money. This is a very simplistic song.
Yeah, more about the acoustic guitar actually. Yeah.
I mean, there's some orchestration, but it's very subtle. It's not like I throw everything at the wall. It's really so, like he's a matured songwriter. And this song is very Neil Young-esque, I would say. It's like a Nick Cave meets Neil Young song in a way. It also reminds me of the War on Drugs, the contemporary band War on Drugs in a way. Okay. And I like the production on this song. This was recorded in Abbey Road. I said, now he has the money to make big productions again, and it reminds me also on Beatle production, like Jeff Emerick miking is the way the guitars are mic'd, and I'm a Beatle. I'm one of the biggest Beatle fans in the world. So I really like the production on that song. Maybe it's a bit simplistic. The lyrics, maybe you don't like that, but it really. I think this is maybe one of my 10 favorite Divine Comedy songs.
It's okay, but I don't know. Musically, I couldn't really connect with it.
Okay.
Maybe because it's
the same.
It's not repetitive. Is the wrong word. It's still very, sophisticatedly arranged and stuff. But it's a bit stagnant maybe for me musically.
Yeah. But all in all, I think I already said it. I should have waited till the end of the video. I already made the big announcement. But to me, this is the best album he ever did. I didn't expect this. I'm not one of those. There's lots of people, especially YouTubers. every new album by a band is their best album,
album
or
ever.
even
Yeah.
or the interviews with artists, they always say, "This is my best album," or "This is the
is
best
my
album
most-
since my early days,"
Yeah,
or "This is my most personal album."
most
In
personal
this
and best
case,
album.
it's really true. I think it's his most, it's objectively his most personal album,
I would
and
agree
I
with
also
that, yeah.
think this is, in my opinion, that's not a subjective part, of course.
Yeah.
This is not the best, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite Divine Comedy album, and it's his most personal album. So. I really didn't expect this, that it would be that good, because I wasn't that much of a fan of Office Politics, but this is really a big departure from
Office Politics
Office
was
Politics.
really one of his quirkiest albums, and maybe also
Some people like that.
a bit unfocused musically.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. I'm happy he has returned to his maybe what you would expect from Divine Comedy. So there's
He's
in
always
that
the
regard,
best.
there's nothing new there maybe, but it's exactly what you want from.
There's other
From the
artists
Divine
where you complain when everything sounds the same. I
Yeah.
can't stand bands like AC/DC, for example, because of that. But with Divine Comedy, I'm always a bit, when the album doesn't sound like typical Neil Hannon, those are the albums I don't like so much, like Regeneration, for example,
Yeah.
or Office
Or Office,
Politics.
those are the two.
I like the most when he's really typically Neil Hannon, then I like it the
But
most.
I guess he needs to do those
of
off the
course.
wall
Yeah,
albums
it's-
from time to time in
I
order
understand
to
that.
enjoy or to get back
To return.
to return to the
Yeah.
inspiration for the because I think
It would
it's
sound
hard.
stale if you
If you do
really
an
it all the
orchestral
time.
pop album every 2 years, then I really enjoy this album. I think it's more than worthwhile. I wouldn't go as far as saying that this
Is it a top
his
3
best.
album for you?
No, it's not.
Top 5?
Probably in my top 5. Yeah. But
This is, and I think I said it already in my short video, I shouldn't give these things away before, but maybe many of you haven't watched my short video. This is not only my favorite Divine Comedy album so far, this is also my favorite album of this year so far, and maybe this is my favorite album of this decade, of the 20s so far.
that's
I mean,
great accolades.
I haven't listened to too many albums from this decade because I think this decade is terrible. This is the worst
haven't-
decade in pop music since the 1940s.
Let's
probably.
wait for the new Corey Feldman album.
Oh, yeah, this will change everything. The world has waited for that. Does he make a new album? Or?
I don't know.
Does he even live now still? But no, this is really very unexpectedly such a enormous album. This will be a companion of mine for the rest of my life, I would say. Like Absent Friends already is, for example. But didn't expect that. And what a pity that it doesn't come to our little country.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem to.
because we've got fantastic concert halls, especially for orchestral music.
Really? Do you only say this to lure him
Yeah.
into the country?
Imagine Neil Hannon with band and orchestra at the Konzerthaus, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a nice setting.
That the tour for this album seems to focus more on Ireland, UK, and so on. Maybe Paris, I don't know. But maybe if he doesn't, what's the saying with the prophet? If the prophet doesn't come to you, you have to come to the prophet or something like that. Maybe I have
On
to
a mountain.
go there. Something with a mountain and the prophet. I don't know. Or maybe I will have to go to the UK for him.
Yeah.
So,
But I hope this will sort of revive interest in the Divine Comedy, and there will be
our little
many more
video.
great albums from him to come.
Have you forgotten anything? I'm looking at my notes, but probably we have said everything that there is to say. Yeah, I think I have said everything I want to say. Okay.
The most important bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was the video. Would you like to play a reprise of Eric the Gardener?
Can I still remember it?
Or play National
very
Express?
good.
National Express. You know National Express.
The opening chords.
Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Murdock.
Thanks, Stefan.
And till next time on your channel and on my channel.